And it's important to know that we can evolve and change over time. With more opportunities comes more responsibility. So, Salam and Hello everyone. Welcome to or welcome back to The Balanced Deen. My name is Khadija, and at The Balanced Deen we talk about health, wellness, and spiritual well-being as it relates to our daily lives and our deen. So today we are going to spend time talking about opportunity and responsibility. As an ummah, I believe we need to have more open discussions and conversations surrounding our goals, dreams, aspirations that we strive and work for, but also how to balance all of these things as the responsibility grows with these blessings, opportunities, and or circumstances. I have had a few discussions with women over the years who have 1, 2, 3, or more children. They have a job, they have a career, or they are currently trying to run a small business or earn their degree, for example. The overwhelming sentiment or attitude is, wow, mashallah, wonderful, followed quickly by a, but sister, how did you do it? Every sister wants to know from the next sister, what's their secret recipe? What's their secret sauce? How are you so successful at doing all of these things? And that is why I say we should have more discussions without giving all the details of our home life or personal life, but perhaps just sharing a little bit of our experiences of how we focused on our education as we began graduate school while having kids, for example, or how we set up our routines for balancing childcare. As some of us return to work, in the office after 2 years or more of working from home. For me personally, I had my first child in graduate school about a year or so after I had my nikah. And I remember thinking, okay, I made this decision to start a family not too long after getting married and starting school. So now I will have to juggle school, work, and commuting an hour depending on traffic to school, as well as home life, and now with a baby. I was a little lucky in a sense because there was another graduate student who was also pregnant at the same time that I was, and it was her third pregnancy. So I spoke to her every now and then about how she was coping and managing, and it didn't feel as lonely being a pregnant student. I remember another graduate student who was also a mother, who I distinctly remember saying to me after she learned I too had kids in graduate school. She was saying something like, go and study, finish your education while your kids are young, because they won't remember that, they won't remember that you were away so much and that you were in classes and studying at the library or working or on rotations. And I was a little stunned at first, but understood later where she was coming from. Needless to say, after class, I generally ran home to be with my child, because although I, had some family support and access to daycare, I didn't want to miss out on the little things, as young as they were. So I didn't spend as much time in the library per se, and that was a choice, that was the decision that I had to make. But even as I mention this, it is important to know that we are different people, and we are all in different stages of our lives. And by the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, some of us are starting families, some of us are well on our way to raising these families, some of us have launched new businesses or returned to school to pursue a higher education. So we are adding more responsibilities to our plates as we aspire to achieve more in this world, right? We are in go mode, but I often wonder if we are in this go mode because that is simply what we desire or what we want, or we're comparing ourselves to our neighbors or our fellow sistren. We are sharing more of our glamorous lives on social media than ever before, and sometimes, or rather often, we compare ourselves and our accomplishments to the lives and accomplishments of others. And we become a little bit jealous and envious, or, are we all just super ambitious women who want to do as much as we can while we're here in this dunya, in this world? And that means becoming a wife, a mother, a student, a professional, a businesswoman, all while remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and improving our deen. So let's focus on 4 main points that I want to share with you all in an effort to build upon these beneficial open discussions in relation to opportunity and responsibility as we make our way through our different experiences, goals, and dreams, and this journey called life. Number 1. Face your truth and only your truth. As I said before, it is quite easy to look at someone else's life with envy and perhaps jealousy For some of us, it may be a motivating factor to get ourselves together, but I think it is more healthier to focus on our own lives, our own opportunities, our own limitations, and the challenges we may currently face as we pursue our degree, start our own families, invest in our own businesses, and practice our Deen. When we focus on self, we have a better chance of reaching clarity to what it is that we want to accomplish. So it may be necessary for some of us to go on a hiatus off of social media for a while, especially if we are struggling with trying to figure out what our needs are and, what's truly going to make us happy. Number 2, look at your external and internal environment. This ties into point number 1 because with a bit more distinction, because this involves us looking at our financial capabilities, our current family structure, our living situation, our mindset. We want it all sometimes, the career, the family, the business, and for some of us it happens straight away. And for others it is obvious that time is what we have to take into account, into consideration, meaning that in time we will figure it out. Some of us understand this, and for others, it makes sense eventually. We also have to ask whether the access we have to family, finances, education will shift the paradigm of our livelihood. So for example, we may have noticed we spend less time on self, more instances where we depend on others, and for some this can seem like a bit of a loss of control. Something I wish I did more of as I started a family or pursued my education was to ask guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this leads us into my third point. Number 3, seek guidance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala always. I only wonder how much time I would have saved or opportunities I would have acted upon sooner had I simply said, Ya Allah, if what I want or believe I need is good for me, then please make it easy for me. And if what I want or need is bad for me, then keep it away from me. This is the full reliance or tawakkul on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Again, for some of us, trusting God's plan has never been an issue. And for others, it takes time to get to a place where we finally realize that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows what we do not know, and that we should always go to Him in all of our decisions. And number 4, do not be discouraged if something is or is not happening the way you planned and you still find yourself struggling and doubtful and or overwhelmed. We are all the things that I've mentioned throughout the video. We are mothers, wives, professionals, but first and foremost, we are servants to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when we remember our primary purpose, it can truly lessen the stress, the burden, the feelings of doubt that overcome us. The best way to get to this place is to continue to, make your salah on time. Remember to perform your zikr daily. Remove jealousy and envy from your life. Focus on what you have in front of you. Focus on what is currently on your plate to manage, and focus on what you want to achieve. It may not be all of the above. You may be content with the idea of motherhood, or you may be content with the idea of only higher education at this very moment. And it's important to know that we can evolve and change over time. With more opportunities comes more responsibility. So let us be mindful of what we pursue and how we plan to maintain all of our responsibilities with time. And remember to put your full trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Inshallah, this video has been beneficial for you. Check out my other habits playlist above. See you in the next video. Inshallah. Masalam.